In the next 12 months, over 1 million homeowners in the UK will face a gut punch. Their once comfortable mortgage deals locked in during the low-rate pandemic era are about to expire. And when they do, monthly repayments won't just increase, they'll explode. We're talking double or more in some cases. For many, it's the difference between scraping by and financial ruin.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Your feedback helps shape what we cover next, and you being here keeps the conversation going. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
People on a massive scale. You have millions who locked in ultra-low fixed rates when interest rates were practically free money. That era is gone. The Bank of England has hiked rates aggressively to fight inflation, and now those same homeowners are being slammed with repayment increases they never saw coming. And when your mortgage jumps by £800, £1,000, even more per month, that's not a budgeting problem, that's a life problem. This is hitting especially hard in London, where property prices were already on another planet. A city where just staying in your home has now become a luxury. And as these fixed-rate deals expire in waves through 2025 and into 2026, more and more people are being shoved toward the same painful conclusion. They can't afford to stay. They have to sell. But even that's not a solution anymore. Because when you try to sell into a falling market, while everyone else is doing the exact same thing, good luck. Prices are down about 5% across London, but that doesn't make homes more affordable. Mortgage costs have risen so sharply that the price drop means basically nothing. First-time buyers are locked out, and homeowners looking to offload before their financial situation worsens are facing a market full of hesitant buyers, tight lending conditions, and zero leverage. So what happens next? A wave of forced sales, defaults, and repossessions. And when that flood starts, it drags prices down even further, kicking the ladder out from underneath an entire generation trying to get on the property ladder. It's a feedback loop with no off switch. And while homeowners are gasping for air, renters are getting crushed too. In the past 2 years, rent in London has jumped more than 25%. In some parts of the city, average monthly rent is now hitting £2,400. Let that number sink in. £2,400 per month. And yet somehow, demand for rentals is still skyrocketing. Why? Because thousands of landlords are quitting the market. Rising mortgage rates, new regulations, tax changes, it's all made renting out property way less profitable and way more complicated. So they're selling up too. The rental supply is shrinking fast. That's led to bidding wars for flats, queues for viewings, and people paying over asking just to secure a roof over their heads. It's a Hunger Games level competition out there. And for renters already stretched thin by the cost of living crisis, it's become impossible to keep up. We're seeing families being pushed into food insecurity just to pay rent, and the number of working people teetering on the edge of homelessness. It's not a warning, it's reality. And while prices fall, affordability worsens. It sounds backwards, right? But that's the paradox we're in. House prices are technically coming down, but the cost to own a home has never been higher. Lenders are stricter than ever. Deposits are massive. Monthly payments have ballooned, and the support systems, they're either slow, underfunded, or missing entirely. This isn't a blip, it's a structural failure. Developers aren't building. First-time buyers are vanishing. International investors have pulled out. And that last one, that's a huge shift. Foreign money has been a pillar of London real estate since at least 2010. Luxury flats bought up sight unseen, entire blocks turned into investment assets. But now, international investment has cratered, dropping to levels we haven't seen since the financial crisis. Big institutions are leaving too. Pension funds, hedge funds, the major players, they're not seeing returns here anymore. And that means less funding for development, fewer new builds, and less overall activity in the housing market. When developers start canceling projects, that's not just about fewer cranes in the skyline. It means future supply is gone before it even had a chance to be built. London already had a housing shortage. Now, it's tightening into a stranglehold. And the ripple effects, they hit everything. Middle-class families, people who once could afford a starter home or a modest rental, are being priced out of the city. Entire neighborhoods are shifting. And not because of gentrification, but because the basic cost of living in London is now incompatible with the average person's income. This isn't just about money. It's about who gets to live in the capital at all. We're watching the social makeup of London fracture. Teachers, nurses, service workers, creatives all being pushed further out, or out entirely. London is losing the people who make the city function, the people who give it culture, identity, diversity. If you thought London was unaffordable before, 2025 is rewriting the definition in real time.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Your feedback helps shape what we cover next, and you being here keeps the conversation going. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Around 5% or higher, they can't refinance. Not because they don't want to, but because they can't. Maybe their income doesn't meet new lending criteria. Maybe their property has dropped in value. Maybe their credit took a hit. Whatever the reason, they're stuck paying more than they can afford, with no exit strategy. They can't sell because they'll take a loss. They can't rent out because the mortgage would still leave them underwater. And they can't refinance because the new terms would wreck them financially. These people are boxed in on all sides. And their only option, for many, is default. And when defaults rise, lenders pull back even more. Criteria tighten, supply drops, prices slide, and round we go. So, what's the government doing? Not much. Or at least, not enough, and definitely not fast enough. Most of the policy responses have been reactive, slow, and out of touch. Help for mortgage prisoners has been limited. First-time buyer schemes haven't adapted to new economic realities. And proposals to regulate the rental market or support development are either stuck in consultation or watered down to the point of being useless. It's not about ideology. It's about urgency. And this crisis is moving way faster than the policy. The broader problem is structural. You've got a housing system built on the assumption that prices will always go up, that foreign money will always be there, that homeowners will always be able to refinance, and renters will just absorb increases. That's all collapsed now. And nobody in power seems to have a real plan for what comes next. And what comes next might be a fundamental reshaping of London itself. We're not just watching a housing correction. We're watching a social shift, a migration, a slow-motion exodus. The market is shrinking. The ladder is broken. The foundations are cracked. And the people who built their lives here, the teachers, baristas, freelancers, junior doctors, delivery drivers, are being pushed out like an afterthought. Affordability isn't just about the numbers anymore. It's about whether people feel like they have a future here at all. So if you're thinking this is just a housing issue, it's time to zoom out. This crisis is about identity. It's about whether London can still be London when it's no longer livable for the people who call it home. What started as a mortgage rate hike has snowballed into something much bigger, a housing economy on the brink, a rental market stretched beyond breaking, and a population quietly slipping away. If you've made it this far, you're clearly paying attention to the chaos, and trust me, there's more to come. So hit like, drop a comment with your thoughts or your rent horror story, and subscribe if you want to keep following the unraveling. Because this isn't just a market shift, it's a meltdown. And we're only halfway through. Let's be very clear, this is not a housing correction. This is not a temporary adjustment. This is a full-blown structural implosion, and it's tearing through London like a slow, silent wrecking ball. And the worst part, most people won't even realize what's happening until it hits them directly. The truth is, we've normalized dysfunction in this city for so long that even now, as people are being priced out of their own postcodes, it still doesn't feel like an emergency. But when you have thousands of people silently defaulting on their mortgages, families being evicted because their rent just jumped again, and construction companies going bankrupt mid-project, how is that not a crisis? Let's talk about that silence, because it's a huge part of this story. Right now, a lot of homeowners are quietly panicking. These are people who did everything right, saved for a deposit, bought during a boom, locked in a fixed rate, and built their lives around stability. But now their deals are expiring, and the new mortgage quotes are coming in. And it's not just a bump, it's a spike. We're talking people who were paying £1,200 a month now being quoted to £1,300. That's not sustainable. That's a red alert. But the shame, the stigma, it keeps people quiet. Nobody wants to admit they're struggling, that they might have to sell, or worse, default. But behind closed doors, people are already missing payments, already dipping into savings, already choosing between their mortgage and literally everything else. And then there are the landlords. For years, they were painted as the villains of the housing market, profiting while renters suffered. But in 2025, many of them aren't doing much better. Because with mortgage rates where they are, a lot of rental properties no longer even break even. Add to that new regulations, new taxes, uncertainty over policy, and suddenly, a lot of landlords are saying, enough. They're selling up, exiting the game, and when they leave, tenants pay the price. With fewer rental properties on the market, demand surges, And with demand up and supply down, rent shoots into the stratosphere. And if you're thinking, well, at least wages are going up, you're dreaming. Rents have outpaced wage growth for years. What we're seeing now is just the breaking point. It's creating a pressure cooker environment. You've got families bidding against each other for mediocre flats. You've got renters offering 6 months upfront just to avoid another bidding war. And the scariest part, even people earning well above the median income are struggling. That £2,400 average monthly rent we mentioned, that's average. If you're earning £50,000 a year, that's over half your take-home pay, just on rent. And that's if you're lucky enough to get accepted. So what do people do? They leave. They move further out, even out of London entirely. They give up. And the ones who stay? They sacrifice food, heating, childcare, savings. And that kind of trade-off doesn't last forever. Now, let's zoom back in on developers. This isn't just about a few paused projects. We're seeing real fallout. Planning permissions granted, then abandoned. Construction halted midway. Entire developments mothballed. Why? Because the math no longer works. High material costs, higher borrowing costs, lower expected returns. It's a lose-lose equation. For every new unit that doesn't get built, that's one more person who can't move out, one more couple who can't buy, one more family crammed into unsuitable housing. This is how supply crises become permanent. And with international and institutional investors backing away, the capital just isn't there to paper over the cracks anymore. That bottomless pit of foreign money that once made London a global real estate playground. It's dried up. The perception has shifted. Investors now see London not as a sure bet, but as a risk. A city with shrinking yield, rising regulation, political instability, and no clear plan for recovery. It's hard to overstate how much damage that does. Because once confidence is gone, everything slows down. Developers delay projects. Lenders get cautious. Buyers hold off. Sellers panic. And the whole market turns into quicksand. Let's talk about the people locked into this mess. You've got the first-time buyers. Or rather, the ones who would be first-time buyers if they had a shot. But between huge deposits, high interest rates, and strict lending criteria, most have simply given up. And even when house prices dip, they can't take advantage of it because the monthly mortgage cost is still way higher than rent. So they stay renting, which is also unaffordable, and the cycle continues. The ladder isn't just broken, it's gone. Then you've got the homeowners who need to move. Maybe for work, maybe because their family's grown, maybe because their current home is draining them financially. But they can't, because if they sell, they're looking at a loss. And if they try to buy again, the mortgage costs will bury them. So they stay put, miserable, trapped, and stuck watching their equity evaporate. And finally, you've got the mortgage prisoners. The people caught between rock and hard place. Can't refinance, can't sell, can't rent. Their monthly payments keep rising, but they have no way out. It's like being locked in a burning building with no exit. And when their savings run out, defaults follow. Quiet at first, then louder. And once repossessions start making headlines, it's already too late. So where's the leadership? Where's the big, coordinated plan to stabilize the market? To protect people? To rebuild confidence? It doesn't exist. Policy so far has been fragmented. Too little, too late. Loan schemes that don't work under current rates. Half-hearted rental reforms. Promises about affordable housing that never materialize. And most of the major interventions, still stuck in the pipeline or lost in political gridlock. And while they stall, the crisis deepens. It's already changing London. Neighborhoods that were once accessible are becoming ghost towns of empty listings and unaffordable flats. Entire demographics are being pushed out, not just low-income households, but middle-income earners too. People who should be able to afford to live in the city they work in. People who keep the economy running. This isn't just a housing crisis. It's an economic crisis, a social crisis, and yes, a cultural one too. Because London isn't just bricks and mortar. It's people. And if those people can't afford to live here, the city becomes hollow. All the vibrancy, all the diversity, all the soul it drains away. Replaced by vacant units, luxury flats no one lives in, and a rental market built on desperation. And yet somehow, the official narrative is still about inflation, rate targets, or market corrections. Meanwhile, real people are being uprooted, one silent disaster at a time. We need to stop talking about this like it's a temporary storm. This is the new climate. Mortgage rates may eventually stabilize, but the damage is already done. The debt, the repossessions, the missed payments, they leave scars. Trust in the system is broken. And rebuilding that will take more than a rate cut or a press conference. So what now? More people will sell. More landlords will exit. More renters will be squeezed. And without major reform, we're heading for a permanent affordability crisis. A London where only the ultra-rich own, and everyone else just rotates through short-term leases, endlessly priced out, endlessly searching for something stable. It's not sustainable. And it's not accidental either. This is what happens when a housing system becomes more about investment than shelter. When homes become assets first and living spaces second, the consequences aren't abstract, they're personal. And they're happening now. If this hits close to home, you're not alone. Whether you're stuck in a mortgage trap, battling rent hikes, or watching friends leave the city one by one, you're witnessing the effects of a system that's run out of rope. And we're not even at the bottom yet. This story isn't going away. It's not going to resolve itself. The countdown to 2026 is more than just a calendar, it's a ticking clock on whether London can save itself from pricing out the very people who keep it alive. And here's the kicker, no one's coming to fix it anytime soon. Banks. They're protecting themselves. Lenders are tightening criteria, demanding bigger deposits, more security, pristine credit scores. If you're not already wealthy, good luck getting approved. If you're self-employed, have a single blemish on your file, or took a financial hit during the pandemic, you're out. Shut out of the market entirely. Politicians. They're still arguing over whether rent caps will scare away investment or if building more homes will ruin the character of neighborhoods. Meanwhile, the character of London is being eroded in real time, not by construction, but by vacancy, instability, and unaffordability. And let's be real, this isn't just a young people problem anymore. It's not just the 20-somethings trying to get their foot in the door. Families are being forced to uproot. Retirees are dipping into savings to help their kids make rent. Even homeowners who once felt secure are waking up at 3 a.m., running the numbers, realizing they might have to sell in a down market. The only people safe in this chaos, the ones who bought decades ago and never remortgaged. Everyone else, they're riding a financial roller coaster with no brakes and no seatbelt. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, you're officially part of the small percentage of people who don't just click away, and that means a lot. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me your thoughts, your ideas, or even what you'd like to see next. I read every single one of them, and your feedback genuinely shapes the direction of this channel. If you enjoyed the video, tap that like button, it tells YouTube this content is worth sharing. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload. We've got more exciting videos coming, and trust me, you'll want to be here for them. This channel is just getting started, and your support helps it grow faster than you realize. Thank you again for spending a part of your day here with me. Stay curious, stay motivated, and as always, take care of yourself. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.